Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This video was not intended to be made. I had no intentions of making a video like this. No intentions of talking hours after Notre Dame game other than maybe the ACC championship game but talking after a Syracuse game I had never envisioned. Now Syracuse is also the school I want to attend for college. We'll keep that on the low. I'm currently a sophomore. If you did not know, most people that watch these videos are family and friends, so they already know. Um, but boy, was today special. Watched the whole game as I usually do, and something just felt special about this game. Ian Book, he's been called everything from recruiting to his time at South Bend. I mean, his time is not out yet. There are a few more seconds left on the whatever you call it meter, but what a performance today. 5 total touchdowns, 338 yards. Someone is calling it special player. Yes, he is. He gets it done. He's a winner, as Brian Kelly has called him since his first win against North Carolina in 2017, filling in for Brandon Wimbush. Just a special player, a special kid, a special talent. I don't want to get into will he be drafted. I personally think he will. Will he ever start a game? I doubt it. But he sums up what a Notre Dame quarterback is, and this Notre Dame team sums that up. Really quickly, I said a diehard experience. I was never brought up to be a Notre Dame fan. My parents did not go to the school. I was also not really brought up in a sports diehard family. I was not at all. But Notre Dame was just a fit since I was 6 or 7 years old. I saw a video of me earlier jumping up and down when Notre Dame won a big game. I don't know, it might have been the Stanford game in that legendary season that they, of course, lost to Alabama in the national championship game. But since I was 7 years old, I've just been a Notre Dame fanatic. Been to games every single year. Just love the experience. Last fall I was sick. I had a fever, and I ended up going to the game just for the love of it because I knew that was the only game I went to. Went to the Navy game last year. It was a great game. It was around, I think, 52-20. Few fumbles. I know Aloy Gilman and Myron had some big plays. Chase Claypool had 4 touchdowns. But just a classy kid Ian Book is, and an incredible win. He woke up the echoes. For so many years after the Alabama game, people thought, could Notre Dame do it again? Of course, the 2016 season was nothing from ideal. 4-8. Jalen Smith injury was a big killer. 2017 season, we won our bowl game against LSU, and then the 2018 season was crazy. Sure, you can make the argument if Julian Love was not hurt and Troy Pride didn't get absolutely torched by Trevor Lawrence, Notre Dame wins that 2018 game. They were a few big plays away from winning it. But I want to focus on the present here in this video. Notre Dame is national title contender. They won the big game. They beat number 1 Clemson. And they have the perfect quarterback to do it. I don't want anyone other than Ian Book as the Notre Dame quarterback. I'm going to be completely honest. I want the 3-star from Sacramento, California that is dual threat. Did not make the Elite 11. Nobody wanted him. He was a Washington State commit, flipped to Notre Dame. I want that. Notre Dame, that is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the scrappy kids. If you look at Clark Lee's defense, most of those kids are 3-stars. A few 4-stars, maybe 1 5-star. I think that's Dalen Hayes. That is Notre Dame. And Notre Dame football is special. I don't think there's a place in the country that's like Notre Dame. The small South Bend, Indiana vibe. They don't go out and get the 5-stars from Texas that everyone wants. No, they don't pay kids. No. They don't do that stuff. You need to be a smart kid to get into the school. But there's no culture like it, and there's no place like it. It's a feeling that you can't describe. I mean, just Notre Dame has had its legends: Jerome Bettis, Joe Montana. Manti Te'o had probably one of the most legendary defensive careers out of any Notre Dame player ever. That was just 8 years ago. And of course, it starts in recruiting. My main focus, honestly, for this channel is Notre Dame recruiting, because you can get Notre Dame insight on how they're going to win, who they're going to play, where they're going to play, who's making the playoff anywhere. But Notre Dame recruiting stuff isn't so available, and that's what I try to do. But I go back to Manti Te'o's recruitment. Top 3: USC, UCLA, Notre Dame. UCLA was in a better place then, and USC was, I think, about where they were. They might have been a little bit better. They were a few years closer to the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart golden era of the 2000s. It was only 2010 when he committed, I think. He came to Notre Dame. Torrential snowfall on his official visit. I think that was his only visit. Below zero, just terrible weather. Terrible weather. He left his visit early. Went back to Hawaii. People thought Notre Dame was not even in the top 2. Names the top 3: it's UCLA, USC, Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins his recruitment at 5 a.m. No one thought Notre Dame had a shot. He was the number 2, number 1, number 3 player in the country. He was a top 3 player in the country. Far away from home, uncharted territory, and he goes to Notre Dame. I don't know what it was, but he goes to Notre Dame, starts something special, and he puts Notre Dame back on the map. Brian Kelly comes in, does a great job. 2012, that season was phenomenal. 2013, you get Jalen Smith, another huge player. Notre Dame but Notre Dame didn't have the quarterback. Everett Golson was a good college quarterback, but nothing special. He didn't even make an NFL practice squad, I don't think. He was a CFL guy. Ian Book is what Notre Dame needs. Tyler Buckner, Drew Pine, whoever it is, could even be a transfer, needs to be just like Ian Book. He's scrappy and he does it. If you go to Notre Dame, you are not a 5-star quarterback, pretty boy, everything like that. You are scrappy, you get the job done, you're low key, you're done. Ian Book resembles all of that. As a Notre Dame fan, I've loved Ian Book day in and day out. I wouldn't want anyone over him. I'd rather have Ian Book than Trevor Lawrence as the Notre Dame quarterback, and I will say that. He resembles everything that the Notre Dame University wants and strives to be, and as a fan, I can't ask for any more. I'm going to miss Ian Book. I doubt he returns. He accepted the Senior Bowl invite. His guys are all leaving. But to say he's had a special career is completely true. He's 30-3 as a starter. 900 plus winning percentage. He's just a phenomenal kid, a phenomenal player. And it's just so special what he's accomplished. It really feels like 1988, 1993. I wasn't even alive. I haven't done much research into those seasons either. Like I said, my parents didn't go to Notre Dame. I wasn't brought up in the tradition. But when I was young and I hopped on the bandwagon when I was 7 years old, I'll say it. But I've stuck true. Notre Dame football is a huge part of my life. I love every second of it. I have not missed a game this year. I watch every single second, even if it's a blowout. I don't miss Notre Dame football. There's nothing like it. NBC. There's the Clemson game. Was probably my greatest memory of 2020. I can't think what else. I was with my 2 friends, one of who's a Michigan fan and does the show with me, Ben Niewaner, and then our other friend Tim Vietzen, who comes on here. His brother is at Notre Dame, and he's a Notre Dame fan. Such a special night. I didn't fall asleep till I was probably in bed at midnight. I didn't fall asleep till 2 in the morning. I was just thinking about it. I was just so excited, so happy. And that was amazing. Just Notre Dame is just something different. Just something different. This isn't very professional. It doesn't get to any main points that I want to talk about or discuss or debate or look into. This is just a raw reaction to Notre Dame's regular season. And we'll talk about it in a few weeks after the Clemson game. We'll talk about it after our bowl game, which will hopefully be a playoff game. Talk about the playoff game really quickly. I hope we beat Clemson. If we beat Clemson, I think we'll be the 2 seed unless Bama loses, but I don't see Bama losing. They're routing LSU right now. We'd be the 2 seed. We'd probably play Ohio State. There'd be nothing better than to see Notre Dame beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. That would just be the greatest thing. Notre Dame has now played it in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl Stadium since 1925 with the Four Horsemen and Newt Rockne. That'd be incredible. I'm saving up my money to go to the 2022 Notre Dame Clemson game in South Bend. Saving up my money. I'm starting my job next summer, working 40 hours a week as a lifeguard at our local pool, and saving all that money to have a crazy weekend in South Bend, Indiana, waking up the Echoes, and a Clemson team. What a crazy season. 2020, Ian Book. Wow, just special. Nothing more. Words can describe how amped I am for this Clemson rematch. Words can describe how happy I am that Ian Book is representing Notre Dame as its quarterback. And words can't describe how much I want to call Notre Dame games in the future, because being in Mike Tirico or Tony Dungy's shoes would just be such an honor and a privilege. And who knows, maybe in 30, 40, 50 years, this video will be played on NBC. And I'll be right there watching it with whoever's in the booth with me. That'd be special. But go Irish, go Ian Book, wake up the Echoes. Peace.